Yes, it is I, your humble host, Bill Hatch the Third, coming to you live from the palatial home studios of Bald Spots Productions here in the beautiful city of Santa Ana, California. Joining me in studio, as per the usual, is my friend, my brother in Christ, the disembodied voice of Rudy.
Hi everybody, I love y'all. Waka 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 waka. With the Lord, that's the extra one.
Just because it's your birthday doesn't mean you get to goof off.
Oh, sorry.
And joining us from a more than acceptable safe social distance through the miracle of telephony is my guest for this morning, Amy Romine. And yes, this is another episode of a very special episode of Not Quite After Midnight. How you doing, Amy?
I am awesome. How are you, Bill?
I am wonderful.
Awesome.
Especially
I love it.
now. Yep. So, where are you calling from?
I am in Claremore, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Now, is that the Tulsa side or the Oklahoma City side?
The Tulsa side. I'm actually south of Tulsa.
South of Tulsa. Okay. My one of my little brothers and his family lives in Oklahoma, but on the Oklahoma City side.
Yes. So I'm a little more rural here. I have my little Claremore town. I call it my Stars Hollow because it's just a little town. It's a street, and it's awesome. I love it.
Gotta widen the street to put the line down the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
Cousin of mine, years and years and years and decades ago, lived in a little town in Louisiana, just on the Louisiana side of the Texas border.
Nice.
Wasco? It was Wasco or Wascom or something like that. The town was so small that you know how when you're driving past a city on a freeway, you'll see the little "Welcome to" sign, and then if you're coming the other direction, you'll see the "Welcome to" sign on that side. Well,
yeah.
For Wascom, as you drove past it, if you turned around immediately after seeing the "Welcome to" sign, you saw the "Welcome to" sign. The "Welcome to" sign on both sides you missed it in both directions.
Oh no.
And
yeah.
The biggest thing to do was to go to the Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we've expanded a little bit. You know, we've come into the 21st century. We've got hatchet throwing downtown.
Okay.
And got one of probably the best steaks houses in the country.
Nice.
Downtown. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot different than it used to be, you know, back in the day. But it's our cute little small town.
Cool.
Great community.
That's nice. That's something I miss about living out in the Midwest and the South was well, I guess more South than Midwest, but was the sense of community that you got from people, and I get that from my church. But
that's a good place to get it from.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, not so much in the city itself. Santa Ana is the county seat of Orange County here in California, and it's busy, and it's full of people who are more interested in doing their work than getting to know their neighbors.
Yeah, I actually got married in Santa Ana.
Oh, okay. Wow. Small world.
My whole family is in California. My mom lives in Placentia.
Okay.
In Placentia, which is Orange County.
I used to belong to the Placentia Chamber of Commerce. There
you go. And then my the other half of my family lives in Huntington Beach.
Wow. That is definitely small world type stuff.
Yeah, that's my mom grew up in California in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
We actually have a vacation home there now.
Nice.
It was the home that my grandparents lived in, right? Okay. They passed a couple years ago, so now we have a house out there that we had before. It's just nobody's living in it right now. And then so Huntington Beach, Santa Barbara, and Placentia. We lived in Yorba Linda for a little while. So everybody's in California right now. I am all by myself here in Oklahoma.
I am.
But I love Like, I would
Yeah.
not want to be in California right now. I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
say that to my mom all the time. I'm like, Mom, come on.
I'm actually the opposite. I'm the only one left in Southern California. Well, I
Yeah.
have an aunt and uncle, but who live in Wildemar over by Temecula.
Yeah.
But I never see them. I hardly ever see them, especially now that my grandmother's passed away. But we
Yeah.
don't get along. We don't get
Well,
along.
family doesn't necessarily mean you get along,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Family's blood. But I grew up in a small town. So, like, I grew up in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So, for the Billy Joel
Yeah.
song. And so I grew up in a small town. So after I got out of high school and went to college, I spent some time in Vegas and then California. I lived for about 15 years in Texas, Arlington, Texas.
Okay.
So, I knew what the small town, like, I remember what a small town felt like when I was a kid, right? And I've gone to these other places, and Oklahoma is the only place that kind of feels like that without going back to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So it's just a little bit simpler. It's
Yeah.
not living in the big city.
Yeah, but there are things about California that I really like. The fact that I can drive for 5 minutes and pass through the cultural centers of four different peoples
Yeah.
those ethnicities, and it's like if
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't like the food on this block, I can go another block and find a completely different country.
It's very diverse.
Yeah.
If you're looking for diversity, you've got California and you've got New York.
Yep.
Those are probably the two most diverse places around, right?
Yeah, but I also like I rarely go, but I like the fact that I can both go to the beach and go skiing in the same day.
Yes, you can.
I mean, not that I ever actually do that.
I'm not a skier, but I like the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I could do without the beach being nearby. But
Yeah.
so let's see. You are a coach, you are a mindset and author coach.
Well, small business mindset and author.
Small
So I have
business
three
mindset
different
and
areas.
author. Okay. And it's
I have
cleardreamscoaching.com.
Correct. Yes.
So
You can
there's
check
an
me
S
out
in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have you in the I'll have it in the link in the description.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
so we
thank
can all
you.
and also your big thing is 45 minutes to clear dreams.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what
Yes.
are clear dreams?
So so we all have dreams, right? We
Right.
all have aspirations.
Okay.
Don't necessarily, you don't know how to get from point A to point B, right?
Mhm.
So in 45 minutes, whether it's weekly or whatever, I can show you how to get from point A to point B.
Okay.
Right. So if you want to increase the profits in your small business, you give me 45 minutes, I can show you how to do it.
Okay.
If you want to change your mindset, I give you 45 minutes and I'll show you how to do it. Right. If you want to be an author and, sell the book that you've been wanting to, or write the book that you want to write, or if you have a book that you've written and you're like, okay, what do I do now? Give me 45 minutes and I'll give you an answer.
Okay.
So I think a lot of people have dreams but they don't know how to get from point A to point B. Yeah. And I'm the person who coaches them through the process and reinforces its accountability, right?
Right.
So I'm the person who says, no, you're not supposed to be doing that. What are you supposed to be doing? And then you say, I'm supposed to be doing this, and this is why. So my clients call the shots as to, where they want to go, and I just help them get there.
A little bit of hand holding.
Yeah, well, I think we all need a little hand holding. This
Yeah.
world's pretty confusing, right?
Yep.
It's pretty, there's a lot of gray right now. There's not a lot of black and white, and there never is.
Right.
But I think that I'm a firm believer in what our intention is more important than the result, right? If you intend to do something, if your intention is to have an impact, to create joy, to help the people that you're engaging with. My cat's just freaked out.
Okay.
Um,
They do that.
help the people you're engaging with, then that's more important than, um, pride, arguing with someone. Just make the most out of every moment. And that's in, being an author, being a person, or being a business owner. You define the joy in your life, and that'll propel you to where you need to go.
Okay.
But most people don't know what brings them joy.
Right.
What brings you joy, Paul?
Talking to people, getting to do the show.
Yeah,
Yes,
and that's what
this
you're
brings
doing,
me
right?
joy.
So, yeah, so you got to build off
But
of
my
that. So,
my
I
my
mean,
passion project though is actually leadership development mastermind, which is something I'm putting together. I do
nice.
leadership development coaching, and I want to move it into a mastermind model. And
Very
yeah,
cool.
yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm hoping to have something ready to go by the start of the new year. Figure that's a good place to
That's
start.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, new year means new things,
that's
right?
right.
And when we think change scares people,
Yeah.
right? So, and this is a coach. I mean, it change is just, especially now, a lot of us have become very risk averse, right? We don't want to change anything because, the whole world freaks
Right.
out. And in small business, that's really important, right? Because you don't want to make huge sweeping changes because it just disrupts everything. It disrupts everything. It disrupts your personal life, your business, your processes, your revenue. It disrupts everything. So the focus of all of my coaching is just making little changes that, whether it's mindset, author, or a small business, making little tweaks to the way that you run things now that show you exponential changes that aren't necessarily earth shattering, but after you implement them, they become earth shattering because your profits go up, or your mindset changes, or you have new inspiration for the passion that your passion project, right? You can change certain things, just change little things about the way you look at things, and have a severe impact in the outcomes. And I think a lot of people look at, owning a small business or having a big dream, and they just get so overwhelmed with all of the things that could go wrong, all of the bad things. You've got your aunt in your ear, and you're saying, I'm going to go do this amazing thing. And they're like, well, you need stability. Well, what's going to happen? And you've got those negative Nellies, and you have to be able to see past that and move forward. So my new thing right now is fear means forward.
Okay.
So if I fear something, if I'm scared of doing something, right, it means I absolutely have to do it. Because without fear, you don't have change, right? If you keep doing the same things over and over again, insanity. If you keep doing the same things over and over again and think you're going to get a different result, what's the point? Whereas if you tweak this and you tweak this and you keep making those adjustments as you move forward, by challenging yourself, by facing your fears, then you see those exponential improvements in not only your business but your life, because you're making the choice to move forward in a positive way. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me, do you find as people, at least some of the people, make these changes towards this ultimate goal? Do you find that sometimes they don't realize they've been changing because the changes are so incremental, and over the course of time, like because little, how do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time. But you might not realize, you might be halfway through the elephant before you realize that you've made any changes to it. Do you find people have a hard time going, oh, I have changed, until at some point?
Well, it's funny because it depends on what you're talking about. So for mindset coaching, and even for, in a lot of ways, author coaching, you have to make those small changes. And then what happens is that one day they look up and they realize that they're okay, right? That there's no more anxiety, that there's nothing really, that they've let go of those limiting beliefs, so they're reacting to things differently. One of the big things with mindset is how we talk to ourselves, right? So one of the things that one of my recent clients said to me is she goes, I didn't realize how negative I was talking to myself. I didn't realize, like, if I was if I was my best friend, I would fire me, right? Because we talk to ourselves so horribly. We're so hard on ourselves. And she said and what I made her do is I made her write it down every time she did it, and then figure out why she did it. And once she did that, she realized how much she was doing it to herself. And then she realized what she was doing, and she ended up eliminating that limiting belief because she was conscious of it. So making small changes, it again, it adds up. And then one day you kind of look up and go, oh, okay. With businesses, it's a little bit different just because you have it's so intensive with business because you're going into the nooks and crannies, the day-to-day processes. There's emotion there's all kinds of stuff, but the biggest thing is hope, right? So one of the things that I have as a business coach is I have an amazing software. It's Profit
Okay.
Accelerator software, and it's proprietary. And what I can do is I can put in the details of a business and then show them how they can grow, right? So your revenue's here, your profits here, your cogs are here. And okay, so there's 12 places you can impact your profit, right? Make it go up or down, right? You've got revenue, you've got cogs. Those are the two most important things. So revenue is the money you're bringing in, right? And then cogs is your cost of goods. So in a coaching program like this, our cost of goods is fairly low because we don't actually make anything, right? But for a business, for a business that actually, like a restaurant that makes something, there's a lot of very specific things you can do. You can increase your prices. You can cut your costs. That will directly impact your revenue and or your cogs. So if you can reduce your cogs by 3%, what does that look like over a year? How much money are you actually adding to your revenue? If you increase your prices by 5%, how much money is that going to add to your revenue annually? And so the software that I have has I think it's like 500, I don't know, it's like 1 million algorithms in it. And it does it by industry, and it puts it in there, and it basically maps out the potential profit increase over the span of time. So I can actually show them numbers and then say, okay, if we want to hit this goal, this is what we have to do. And so it's a partnership between the business owner and the coach. And because the business owner sets the goals based on their goals, their personal goals, which is different from business owner to business owner, those changes, while they're seen, it's usually, you can tell right away if you're having an impact, and then you can adjust because of your revenue, right? If your revenue goes up, you're having an impact. If your revenue goes down, you're not having an impact, or if it stays the same. So it's more of a numbers game. But yeah, they do see it, especially the small businesses, because there's an energy behind doing something like that. So when a small business comes to you or to me and says, hey, I want to improve my small business, there's an energy that goes along with that. There's something behind that. And that energy fuels the process, fuels the creativity, fuels the intent of wanting to succeed. So if they're looking for success, they're going to find success.
Yeah,
that make sense?
Absolutely does. Now, to kind of go off in a different direction, what made you want to become a coach?
Well, there were several things. I've worked in corporate operations for 20 years. And so I've been a corporate cog. It's basically, I was an operations analyst. I dealt with P&Ls for big accounts that we have or had. And, but I'm also a published author, romantic suspense author. So I have currently 11 books that I've published. So I was doing that on the side, right, of being a corporate analyst. That was my side hustle, was the writing. And, but when COVID happened, and even before COVID, because I've been working from my house for about 10 years now. So COVID happened and everybody looked at me and went, how do you do this every day? It was actually very funny. And then it was also a wake up call for me. I saw a meme that said, what does it say about your life when a global pandemic hits and your life doesn't change? Right?
Yep.
So it's like, okay, well, yeah, not much changed for me because I wasn't going to work anyway, right? So one of the things that uh, impact me personally was the separation from being anchored to doing something positive, right? I was helping my team, I was helping my company, but I didn't feel like I was having impact. I wasn't really helping anybody. I was assisting in the corporate maneuvering, but I wasn't actually helping actual people. And when I moved to Claremore a couple years ago, I met a lot of business owners because, that's my age range, right? I'm 48. So a lot of people around my age have businesses. They've either had businesses for a long time or they've opened small businesses. And I saw the impact that COVID had. And I'm seeing the impact that the recession is having and inflation and everything. And I really, honestly, I just want to help these small business owners get out of the ditch that they're in right now
Sure.
and be successful. That is honestly why I'm getting into this. I love helping people. I love having conversations like you do, understanding people's intentions and their passions. And I want to be able to support that in any way that I can. And this is the best way that I could find to do it.
Very cool. Very
Very
cool.
cool.
It's a journey, right?
It is absolutely. What in your background helps you be a good coach?
Uh, well, I actually started coaching when I was, well, a couple of years ago when I became an author. Not actually when I became an author. I had a whole bunch of books that I had published. And when I became an author, it was when ebooks kind of first took over. So nobody knew what they were doing. Like ebook authors, they had no idea, right? The market got flooded. It was the wild west of marketing, right? Everybody was just trying to sell books, but nobody knew the framework for it because it was so new. The traditional publishers were still kind of fighting the whole ebook thing, but Amazon was coming on, and then you had like Smashwords and all these other things. So I had to kind of figure out what the playing field was. So once I did that, because my first book was published in 2010, so I've been doing this for 10 years, about 12 years. My automatic response to that was to help other authors, right? So if I know another author who, oh, I did this and I sold this, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'll duplicate that. And that turned into author coaching for me. That turned into, I opened up an author coaching program here in Tulsa in 2018 or 2019. And it was a huge success. I think we had 12 authors in the group. We met weekly. And I went through from basically the kernel idea of a book all the way to and through publishing and advertising. And that really gave me a taste for guiding people, encouraging people. And I found that I was really good at it, asking the questions that got to the answers that they were looking for. And once I did that, it just kind of took off from there. Again, I was looking for a place to have impact, and small businesses again are suffering. I have friends that are small. My mom was a small business owner. I'm a small business owner, and it just fit. And I just love helping people. So I mean, why not? Why
Yeah,
not?
absolutely.
I have all this business experience. I want to share it. I want to go out and say, here, let's do this together.
Very cool. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm looking at your blog over on cleardreamscoaching.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta know, what lessons did you learn from Paris Hilton?
What lessons did I learn from Paris Hilton? It's all about branding, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about branding.
Always.
Paris Hilton, she's famous for being famous.
Right.
She knows how. I mean, even the Kardashians. I mean, Paris Hilton, the Kardashians, they're kind of in the same, in the same space. They're very good at marketing themselves. But what do they really offer people?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right?
Right. Absolutely
They offer
nothing.
they offer the chance to be like them. That's all they offer,
Yeah.
right? It's
Right.
like, oh, I want to be like Paris Hilton, or I want to be like Kim Kardashian. And honestly, from a woman's point of view, they're brilliant. They're
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. And I totally respect the hell out of them. But what they're selling is not something that I really want to buy.
But somebody's buying it because they keep making it.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation about, the fact that the internet's destroying our minds, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, it's like
That's
makes me think of another one of these self-promotional people. Nobody knows who Stephanie Germanotta is,
mm-hmm.
but
I
everybody
don't know.
knows who she became. That's Lady Gaga's real name.
Oh, is it? I did
Yes.
not know that.
Um,
See, I had no idea.
yeah, and yeah, before she became Lady Gaga, she was normal looking, had brown hair, played her
Uh-huh. I see
music, played her
pictures.
simple music.
Yeah.
She's very talented. I mean, I don't care for most of her music, although I
Yeah.
did like the stuff she did with Tony Bennett. But
Yes. Yes.
but that's a different thing. Uh,
Did you see her? Did you see her at the Oscars when she did the Sound of Music rendition or the
no,
Oh, look that up. It is amazing. It
wow.
was amazing. It was an Oscar performance, and
Mhm.
that was the night I became a Lady Gaga fan. Seriously, because it's Julie Andrews. Like the
Yeah,
song in your head is Julie Andrews. So for
right.
somebody else to be able to sing that and
Hmm.
replace that voice in my head is a huge thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely check it out. Oscars.
Okay,
It's whatever they have
Oscars,
to
Lady Gaga,
sound
Sound
of
of Music.
music.
Okay, but
Yeah.
yeah, but my point is that when she was doing everything normally,
Hmm.
what most people would call normally, nobody paid any attention, nobody cared. But the
Hmm.
second she got her own this unique out there style,
Hmm.
and and started putting out the simpler, more catchy beat, hook music, and everything. Suddenly, everybody knows who Lady Gaga is.
Well, yeah, she created her market dominating position, right?
Right.
She was very clear. She is, and Madonna did the same thing,
Yeah.
right? And when you look at Lady Gaga, it's the new Madonna.
Right.
She reinvents herself every couple years.
Yeah.
She comes up with a new message, but her core talent is, the anchor for everything. Like if she doesn't have her voice, what does she have?
She's got nothing.
Well,
Well, I don't know. She can act.
that's a
She can act a
start,
little.
but I'm sure that if you would have said that, 10 years ago when she first came out or however long it's been, she just
Right.
had her voice. But now she's got acting under her belt, she's
Yeah.
got directing under her belt, she's got
Mhm.
marketing under her belt, she's got business management, touring, all of the skills that she's gained from the beginning of that process
Right.
has made her a much more robust business
Yeah.
that she can offer if her voice goes away.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a smart thing. That's a smart thing to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Diversifying, differentiating, all these.
Don't limit
No.
yourself.
No.
Why limit
No,
yourself?
no. I mean, I do three things. I do the podcasting. I do my leadership coaching, and then I
Hmm.
also do final expense insurance. So,
Yeah,
and
there you
everybody
go.
dies, so everybody needs that.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, no, I get it. I get it. You've got business coaching and authorship, and you said it was romantic thrillers.
Yeah, romantic suspense.
Romantic
If you go on
suspense.
Amazon and look up my name, they're all there.
Okay, that's cool.
I also have a Substack that's it's Clear Dreams Coaching. That's where my daily updates.
Okay.
If you want to check that out.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you've got a blog over there on the website, and you've got Ask Amy, and
Yep.
so definitely some great stuff. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Wow, it's already been a half an hour.
Yeah, I told you we could go for a half an
Yep,
hour
yep,
easy. I
we
loved.
did.
Just kidding.
What's been so far? What's been your most interesting client need? What's been
My
the
most
most
interesting
unique or interesting,
let me think.
or the most unique business you've helped?
There's been so many. Actually, I think one of the conversations I had recently with a business owner kind of threw me off a little bit. It wasn't. I don't want to say I wasn't expecting it, but it was a little bit different. So I have a restaurant
Okay.
owner who so I've established that there's three small business type owners, right? There's ex corporate, which is people who were in, the corporate cog who are going into like either a second stage of their life and they're looking towards retirement, or they're looking to create a nest egg or a passive revenue income, and they open a business, right? Or they purchase a business. And that was one of the things with this client, that she literally retired and then got bored and decided she wanted something to do. And her sister owned a business, and she decided, okay, let's do this. And so she kind of took me through it and everything. And as we talked more, the whole reason for her opening this business was to help people. And it took a little bit of time to get to that, but her core goal is to bring servers in to this restaurant and have them make more money and have a better experience than any other restaurant in town.
Okay.
So that's kind of different,
Mm-hmm.
right? So normally people are looking for their customers, their clients, to have the best experience, right? And that's still the case with her. But her thought is that if she has happy employees, she's going to have happy customers.
Sure.
Which totally makes sense. It's business 101. Happy employees makes happy customers. But she wanted to go beyond that. She wants to, she wants to further empower her employees.
Okay.
So she wants employees that are going to stay there for a little while and then move on to a better job. That's what she thinks her job is. That's her core focus. And so when she said that to me, I mean, it's very giving. You can tell by talking to her that she really just wants to help people, just like I do. So we kind of connected on that front. But her core concern was, what's it going to do to the employees? Is this going to help my employees? If I do this, how is it going to? It's always coming back to the employees. It's not the profit margin. It's not the business. It's the employees. And that was just something that I didn't expect. I'd never encountered that before. I mean, all employers, all small businesses love their employees, and they think it's awesome. But to actually have the focus on your decision making process being based on your employees' well-being and prosperity, it was just a new thing. It was just something I found really interesting. So that would probably be the best story that I have.
See, now,
So
what's funny is that fits right into my ethical leadership model that I use.
awesome.
Yeah, to basically, if you want to put it, to think of others first, to consider
Yeah.
whoever the other happens to be, and
Yeah.
phrases like cliches like a rising tide lifts all boats, and those kinds of things play into it quite a bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I try to teach my clients,
Yeah. Well,
or
yeah.
one of the
So
things.
it's well, and it's well, and like I said, I thought it wasn't an odd conversation. It was a
Right.
very hopeful, and I enjoyed that I enjoy the fact that she thinks that way. I think that's a very different way of looking at things. And should all business owners think that way? Well, it depends on what your goals
Right.
are, right? So one of the most important conversations I have with my clients when we first start out is, why are you doing this? What is the end goal here? Are you are you creating something to, have a legacy? Are you wanting to pass this down to your children? Are you doing this because it's a creative outlet? Are you doing this to make money?
Yeah.
I mean, what is the intent?
Right.
And it's so funny because they really struggle with that answer sometimes. And you've got the ex corporate, you've got what I call the craftsman, right? The craftsman business owner, and then you've got the old school, right? The old school is the one where, grandma does the books, and cousin Earl does all of the, marketing, and it's literally a family business, and it's been there that way for, years, generations. But the one that's hitting right now is the craftsman. It's the authors, it's the painters, it's the people who are creative and have a passion for something, and they want to bring it forth in the world. They don't want to work for somebody else. They want to have a business so that they can share their talents, and they want to do it profitably. And a lot of times they get into these things and they start the business, and it becomes all about keeping the business afloat and not about the passion anymore. And if you do it that way, you're going to struggle, because with a craftsman business like that, the fuel that drives the business is also located in the same place as the fuel running the business. Right. So if you got two cars running off the same tank of gas, it's not going to work for very long, right? It's just
no,
not.
Absolutely.
You're not going to be able to get
absolutely. Yeah, just because you know how to do whatever it is you do better than anybody else doesn't mean you know how to run a business better than anybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's okay to say, hey, I don't know how to do this.
Fish don't climb trees.
And it's good to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's perfectly fine. If your skill set is somewhere else, you're a genius there. You're a genius in France.
Yeah. Exactly. You're a genius in making, fruit designs or fruit baskets or flower arrangements or whatever. You're absolute genius. But half of the time you tell these people, and they're geniuses, but they don't know anything about business. And so it's like, okay, and it's sad, because they get depressed and they get overwhelmed, and then they lose the spark for the passion that they have, right? They don't want to make flowers anymore. They don't want to write books anymore, because there's so much stress associated with it because of the business side of things. So, I mean, that's one of the things that I love that I can do, is that I can come in and say, okay, let's handle the business side. Let's get you set up. Let's get you going. Let's getting you on the right track towards success, so that you can focus on making your flowers, or you can focus on writing your next book. And, but it's also, they have to release the control, right? They have to be like, okay, I'm going to accept that I need help with this, right? And then release the control and say, okay, I will let you help me. And that's a hard thing for people to do.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's really tough to say, I can't handle such and such. Even, it's like, I can't handle the accounting. I can't handle the human resources. Whatever. Right. And, and so it's like, okay, here's your CPA. Here's your tax person. Here's your HR person. Here's your HR, your fractional HR manager.
Well, and one of the things I like, and that's the other thing, is the resources. But like marketing and advertising, a lot of times a market ad agency will come in, and actually one of my clients was telling me this, that they came in and they were doing all the social media stuff for a while, and but she didn't really have any control. Right? She didn't have control over when they were posting, what they were posting. She just kind of gave them free reign and just paid them. Never saw the ROI on it. Never saw any of the, like, what was effective, what wasn't. It was just kind of a blanket thing, and it just went out, and she hoped for the best. And with the coaching, with my coaching program, one of the things I love about it is that the client is in control.
Mm-hmm.
So we say, okay, let's do a drip campaign. And then my job is to ask the questions to get the right answers. And then the customer decides what they want to do next. The client decides, okay, we're going to do this or we're going to do this. Okay, you want to do this? This is what we need to do. So basically, I guide them in the direction, telling them what they can do. And then they're also learning, right? It's like you don't give a man a fish, you teach a man a fish.
Right.
You teach them to fish, you teach them how to do it. And if you do that, then they've got a skill for life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's why I like coaching, because I'm not going in there and saying, oh, I'm going to do all this stuff for you and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you're going to do it, but I'm going to show you.
I'm going to work myself out of a job.
Exactly.
That's the job. That's the job of a coach.
What I plan to do. Work myself out of a job.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think let's see. I can't think of any other questions I'd ask. Is there anything you'd like to add to say to the nice people?
Oh, I am so happy to be here. If anybody has any questions, you can always just email me. I'm really good at answering just like random questions. I answer questions on Quora all the time. Amy Romine at cleardreamscoaching.com. Whether or not you want to set up an assessment or just ask me some random questions, you can totally do that. If you want to start reading my Substack right now, it's free. It'll be through the end of December, and then it'll become a paid membership. Every day I have different tips for business coaches, mindset tips, and it's just a newsletter that comes out in the first thing in the morning, kind of gets you ready for your day, gets you in the right mindset to conquer whatever you need to conquer. So I'd highly recommend that. But it was a great time to talk to you, Bill. I know that we tried to do this a couple times now.
I know. You had a medical emergency the last time we tried to do this.
I did. Yeah.
So. But yeah, no, it's been a great pleasure, and you're scheduled to be on again before too much longer, aren't you?
I believe so. Yes, so we will be doing this again.
Yes, but it'll be different because you'll have a partner.
There you go. There you go. I'll have a partner, and I'll have to collect some more good stories.
Okay. For you. Well, all right then. Yeah, thank you again for being on and giving us your time. Everybody be safe out there. Remember to wash your hands and stay tuned for the closing credits.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bill.
My pleasure. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been a presentation of Bald Spot Productions. I'd like to thank my producer, my beloved mother, Eileen Hatch. I, of course, am your humble host. I'd like to thank my special guest, Amy Romine. And if you feel so led, support the show over on patreon.com. We're Bald Spots Pro. And don't miss YWL Online, airing on Tuesday. New episodes are released on Tuesdays and Saturdays. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever fine podcasts are proffered. Tune in next time for... Wait a minute. It went too fast this time. Hold on. Let's see if I can rewind this. Corey Nathan. There we go. Tune in next time for Corey Nathan and surprise guest, because nobody's booked the second spot yet. Please be sure to like, comment, and share to stay informed. Subscribe, follow, whatever you got to do to kick that algorithm into gear so we can reach more people, because that is the point. So once again, thank you all for tuning in, and have yourselves a wonderful whenever.